Have you ever been around a team that's seemingly as close-knit as these guys?
I've been on some really good teams that had really, outstanding chemistry, and this is one of the ones that has got to be right up there. And again, just the way the young guys and the older guys have kind of clicked and bonded, and the emergence of some players that weren't necessarily the guy at the beginning of the year. I think that's happened with our quarterback. So just again, a different dynamic, but I think chemistry-wise, I think it's really getting better every week.
How critical has Cam been to that chemistry? Because while he's producing most of the yards, he seems to be very unselfish.
Extremely unselfish. And on the sideline, if we're not playing well on one side of the ball, you can see him. He's going up and down right now trying to get everybody. He's just an unselfish guy. He's doing exactly what we feel like our quarterback needs to do. And he understands that it's look, it's not complicated. If the offensive line's not blocking well for him, and there's not guys doing what they need to do, blocking the perimeter, and guys running crisp routes and doing what they, he's smart enough to understand that it's not the same result. I mean, he's got 5 offensive linemen that, from a month ago, have improved, without question. He'll be the first one to tell you that. So I think he knows that, and there's an appreciation about that from him. And he'd be the first one to tell you that. So he knows it's not just him. And we got a lot of good players on the team right now, and I think he understands that they play a huge role.
Jimmy, how's Aaron doing psychologically, and has he got a game plan to try to get back before the end of the season?
Well, we're going to take it. We're going to take the rehab and run with it, Mark, and see what happens. We'd love to see that happen. Whether that will unfold that way or not, I don't know. His spirits are good. He's obviously disappointed, as any of us in here would be, with all of the stuff he's been through on his journey. But for the place that he's in, he's as good as he could be right now.
Coach, can you talk about LSU Stephen Ridley, why he's been so efficient up to this point, and what it will take to slow him down?
Well, first of all, he's a very physical back. He runs the ball downhill. He's extremely, extremely powerful. He's got great balance. And they're doing a great job blocking for him. There's no question up front. It's like anybody's team. Those 5 up front right now, they're very physical. They're very gifted and very athletic. And you can tell the nature of their football team is to be a physical team. You can tell that's what they want. That's where they want to start. And I think he brings a physicality to the game that obviously in this league, if you're rushing for almost 100 yards a game, you're doing something physically right. And it starts at the point of attack with those guys up front, and then he certainly is willing to hit that thing downhill. And he's got great vision. He makes really good cuts too. I mean, he makes some really, really good cuts. So he's a very good all-around back and plays in well with what they do, up front.
When you talking about the chemistry and how close-knit the team is, that fits your personality. I know you stress X's and O's, but that's something that you've always stressed since you've been here about becoming one.
I don't think you can play the game any other way. I think that there's a disconnect there somewhere that eventually, there's going to be a crack in the foundation somewhere. And I'm not saying every team has it, but I'm saying usually the ones that end up being really good football teams, they've got that chemistry in there somewhere that you really don't even understand how and why it became what it was. But in the teams that I've been around that have been really good teams, they've got it. And I think it's extremely important.
Take a few more.
Gene, following up on Philip's question earlier about big games, and you talked about the week of the big game. How about during the big game? Have you ever seen any in your career coaches kind of freeze up during the moment of big games and make decisions maybe they wouldn't in another game? And how important is it to kind of keep that calmness about you during a high pressure game like that?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think that's what our job is. That being said, it's really easy to sit back in your living room on your rocking chair, and when that split-second decision has to be made and somebody doesn't do it exactly right, everybody's up in arms, and those decisions in that split second become tough, and you got to be really focused and locked in, and that's easier said than done. However, that's what our job is. That's what we are expected to do. But when there's a lot of pressure and time's winding down, and you got to make this decision and that decision, it gets hairy sometimes. But I think most of the time coaches do a great job of that.
Anything else? All right, thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Close.
You're welcome.
Podium.